Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we're in the second round of the RGL.GG, the Manco Trade One-Day Cup. All combined, it should be a great one as we're coming out here and the EU versus Texas Cheese Fries on PL Borneo. It's going to be a best of three. I'm Sigafu here, and I'm going to pass over the mic to my boy Marxist is coming in here doing a guest cast. Looking forward to having him here with Rogue. You guys can take it away in this first push on PL Upward, or Borneo. I'm shit.
Thank you, Sigafu. So I'm really excited here. Like Sigafu said, we're in the second round here, and I'm very excited to be joined by Marxist. How are you, Marxist?
Oh, I'm just fine. It's nice to be casting kind of earlier in the day for once, but they're already playing here, so I think we'll just pass it on over to what is going on in the game. What do you say?
Oh, I think this is just the setup time, right? Oh. Oh no, yeah, they're on second and the carts are first. Okay. I got scared for a second there. Yeah, so this looks like it looks like a lot of the players from Chill Penguins, as many people will know from Highlander, versus a lot of the players from Kids Next Door. You know, we have players like Nursey, Kresnik, Etney, Demento, and also on the BB side we have players like Monkey, It's Gone Rain, Pals. So these are some
Rogue,
high. Yeah.
Rogue, I don't mean, you're on the wrong server.
Am I? Oh, excuse me.
Marxist,
I got excited.
Am I on the right server?
You should be.
I'm watching some Borneo right now.
Yeah, some Borneo with Zinrise and Nate on the offense, and Clark. We're doing EU versus Texas Cheese Fries.
Oh, I got it wrong. Excuse me.
Yeah, well, they readied up a little bit early on us, since we're a little bit discombobulated right now. But you can see EU is trying to work their way up the cart. The sentry gun is done by Pablo inside of Corn, as they're doing with the Ken Highway on the backside, trying to focus them down. But even Ubers, and we'll see what they want to do with this Uber charge, as it looks like they might go up the cart path, but the Pyro from behind gets the force off.
Yep, and with an Uber deployed, not really getting a whole lot accomplished, just going to get a couple frags. We'll get a sniper frag out there on the other side, and an airstrike, I believe that is, going down. Defensive Uber, pretty much with the sentry gun directly over the cart. But, oh no, Med's going to get stabbed as well, so now it's pretty much just down to the demo heavy and sentry to keep this going if our pushing team can regroup here.
I mean, they do at least have a teleporter forward, so that's going to allow the offense to get their bodies just up to that front line a little bit faster. But as you said, not a lot of players at the front lines currently for the defense. The respawns are coming in, but here we go. The sentry gun did get pulled back. That's going to help them out as the Pyro just gets blasted back right there. And here comes in Highway over the top, as Kasuk is actually getting above the enemy team. We'll see if we can have the EUs work off that, but with no pressure on the backside, he just easily gets focused down. It's just the demo man forward, and it's going to be a reset here out of the EU as they're trying to figure out how do they take this point.
Yeah, it's almost like he didn't expect that back play to work, and then the team just didn't end up in position. But we do have a bomb here with the airstrike, gonna pick up some kills back and forth, and also we're gonna lose Nate, the sniper. And our spies are still kind of out and about here. I'm watching Kronk a little bit, try and get into position. Gonna actually brush against his spy opposition as well, way in the back. Working on your usual stuff there, your tellies and support. Oh no, Med's gonna go down. Yeah, right on him there. Med was pretty isolated as well, and more players are gonna die as well. And Nate's gonna get taken out yet again, so not doing so well here. Red team starting to push up here. It's starting to go bad on a payload when you really lose that much of your position.
Oh, hello, I'm back in the right server, by the way.
We can take it over, Rogue.
Thank you. So, we have right now, Ubers are being reset. It's 23% on Freelander and just 15 on Sprager. So, this is going to give both teams some time to reset, but it looks like Fallen Gord pushing right into that sightline to snipe Nate real nice and quick. So this is going to give him a lot of room and help his team get set up, because there are only 4 players alive on the EU side currently.
Yep, and the car is rolling back too. That's one of the big dynamics in play here, is that you don't really want that thing to get back, especially because the defense here on the third cap is so strong right now.
Yeah, and we have Fallengord on a pretty solid tear here, taking down Sprager as well. So now this is going to give Freelander a full Uber advantage. So The Texas players are playing in the forward hold in the house, which I always love to see. But now, though, Nate ends Falling Gord's reign by sniping him, and now we have the European players pushing into flank house.
Yeah, and that's going to end up with some frags going down, but it's still kind of even-ish. They did lose the demo and the sniper, so the push can come out. Now the med is going to die by Pyro Extendo. And then the power jack's gonna bring them back quite a ways too to get even more frags because he's on the telly just roasting everything that comes through. So blue team, they're still kind of out here a bit doing the offensive thing, but now their legs are cut out from under them because you're gonna have to take a pretty long walk.
Yeah, really, that was EU's push to lose there. They even caught Prolander right on the low ground, but with Marty disrupting so much on the back lines and still going, trying to fight Kosuke way out on the flank behind flank house, it looks like they're able to hold on to it thanks to all that aggression.
Yep, it is turning out very well. They do have a bit of an Uber advantage, so they might get it in to try and break this hold, but it's not a significant Uber advantage really anymore, and there's a full setup over here. The sentry gun is only level 2 right now, so I think it'll soon be level 3, but it's taking a little bit of damage. That's slowing the delay as they try to wrap around the tree here, and still the gun is getting beat up quite badly. He's not really able to get it built up, and more players are going to fall. I think this is the break.
Yeah, that's what we like to see, is once Eve got in control of flank house there and got so far forward, they're able to just sort of slow play the card. And they had Texas wrestled up in the corner, if you will, and now Texas having to back way up, trying to get a little bit of damage in fast, but actually Sprager taking in the engineer Uber, Ed pulling out a solid 2 frags, taking out Shadoway and Randy.
Yeah, the NG Uber can be fairly effective in cases, but we're going to end up losing Nate and Clark. That might slow down the push, but the health for the defenders is pretty poor right now, and they're going to end up popping. And we'll see. They're going to get a heavy frag, and that is about it.
Dang, Marxist, I want to be mad, but it kind of worked a little bit, so I'm not sure what to think. I mean, now we even have Texas pressuring right back in, Highway going all the way in to take down Sprager with the whip of all weapons. So this is going to give almost a 50% advantage to Prolander.
Yeah, and defensive Uber advantage is going to hopefully let them push back out here a little bit. They do have a really nice and defendable position here, but you do want to go and mess up the pushing team's pots and pans every now and again when you can.
Yeah, and we have Randy peeking out every so often, but, you know, you always got to be careful. You don't want to get sniped by going too far forward. And now Marty coming all the way in takes out Sprager. So Sprager is just not catching a break. Each and every player from Texas just kind of pushing into him, taking him down. So Prolander is now going to go from a 50% ad to a 100% ad, and trading just your pyro way out behind enemy lines. Not bad at all.
Yeah, and he was actually attempting to camp their teleporter, but nobody came through it, and then he was discovered by the engineer who swiftly dealt with him. So it's really slowed down here for the pushers because there's not a whole lot of team here to actually go with. They're going to end up dropping some more of their sentry gun and other materials here. And the Pyro here, I have him as Marty on mine because I don't think that's his proper name, but he's just a menace over here on the right side.
Oh no, I'll be the first to tell you that Marty is his real alias, and I think that he's been the best Pyro that this game has seen in a long time, but he always played on my team, so other people don't recognize his brilliance, but he's definitely doing some work here. He's so aggressive, but somehow not dying. And now, I think it took 1 minute for the Europeans to cap first, and what does that leave? 5.5 to get second, so Borneo times tend to be a little longer, like 8 or 9 minutes is still okay, but, you know, hopefully they're able to go faster as Randy and Prolander take the Uber in.
Yeah, with longer times like this, you don't, it's the beginning of the match, you can take it a little bit easier. You have a little time to let the match set itself up unless you just get toasted. Whoa, Spy Play starts to go. Heavy runs out of ammo just after. Oh no, the NG frag on the med in the top left on the catwalk there. And I think this might be about to break. NG gets the sniper too. So
Oh
that
God.
will run them out. And there are just players all around here. Mini Sentry gonna get taken out by Marty. But, oh no, a soldier ends up killing himself to take down the secret agent engineer here.
I know why they wanted to Uber him when he's pulling this many frags. Is that this actually, you know, it wasn't the textbook way of getting third, but it worked because now there's 2 players down on the side of Texas. The Europeans are able to get the capture off, and they're able to work in a little bit with a nice little 20% advantage.
Indeed. We do have a milked soldier who's kind of exposed here, but I don't think anything's going to happen to him other than just the unpleasant smell. And we still have Engineer Clark running around right in the middle of the enemy team, just being a pain. And pyro on pyro violence down the left side. I think this is kind of their avenue here. And they are gonna, whoa, air shot down onto the pyro. Gonna end up having a double Uber force out here. They are gonna pick up a frag in the process. And the Uber is gonna be over now, and this medic's hanging out in the wind. But no, there was no flame to be had, and the sentry gun will prevent the shoddy boom body from getting the enemy med there. And now we're gonna see a quick push-up. I have a feeling, though, this level 3 gun is gonna put a bit of a hitch in the works.
Another medic coming up on Uber anytime soon. Fallen Gord sitting pretty up by Toxic, now going towards hallway actually, where Kronk finds him and manages to 3-shot him down in this hallway. Marty keeping up the chase, not quite able to seal the deal, but now Nate is able to take peek after peek into this hallway. Oh, but despite Randy's very solid pipe.
Yep. And I like how they're spread here defensively, but the left side is pretty soft right now. And that is where it is coming from. Clark's going to get taken out, but so is Marty. And the Uber is getting really close here. They're going to have to try and save their heavy as well. But they're going to get that gun, and now the Demo's just trying to do Demo Man things and take out as much of the team as possible with a heavy follow-up. And I think this one's going to at least pan out for now unless a huge play comes down. But no, that's it. They're going to cap it. And that was a very well-executed Uber there to finish off the round.
Yeah, that's what it always comes down to on Borneo Last is how many of your players can you get in that toxic area, the spot right between the red spawn doors. You want to get as many of you guys in there as possible, and whoever controls that after Uber is going to win the fight. So we saw after that, especially with the late heavy coming in from Sinrise, he just sort of waited and even baited his team a little bit, but then peeked out into 4 players and melted them real quick. So very solid push coming out of them. Hopefully it wasn't too little too late, though, with the 12 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, with the stopwatch in play, 12 minutes is quite a bit of time. The thing that impressed me most about that end Uber was how, I mean, on my screen, he's Norphilo 3, but the demo in that Uber push was so disciplined. He waited to shoot most of his ammo until everyone was nice and grouped up. Despite it being a target-rich environment, he could have just held down mouse 1 and continued to fire the whole time, but he didn't. And as a result, he had a ton of ammo to just totally wreck the entirety of the enemy.
Yeah, it was so exciting watching them all get blasted all around. And like you said, it was such a solid Uber all around. Yeah, I'm glad it worked out so well. We have now Marty trying to push his way a little bit forward. Randy also pressuring in, but he gets sniped for it. They managed to take down that Norphilo 3, the demo man for the Europeans, but not get quite too much of a turn. And we also have Kosuke taking out Fallen Gord on the side of Texas, so it's not too much getting done with that sack play. It's nice getting the demo man right away. I also want to note real quick that the sentry gun is pretty far back. They actually have it on the point. They have it on first. So it's nice, it can't get spammed out so easily, but it's not really going to stop them from coming in until it's too late.
Yeah, and I will note over here, our defenders are running Sniper Spy as their choice here. They do have the engineer in tow. Our pushers have not had a need to really bring that out yet. But it's going to break down now. They finally kind of hit the wall that they'd set up here on the train tracks, and that pretty much wiped out the entirety of Blue. We're gonna have a flank pyro who got Girardi'd, but the shotgun manages to finish its work. And we're still, I think it looks like they're pretty much going to stick with this as their defensive setup for now, still with the same pushing arrangement too. So they're just going to try and grind this down, I think.
We got to catch a little bit of the Europeans in their last game. They ran some really interesting holds and some interesting team comps. So yeah, like you mentioned, right now they have no scout and no soldier. Who would have thunk it, especially for you know, a payload map like this, you know?
Yeah, and on defense, usually you want as much splash as possible to try and work that out. And there are a lot of, you know, and of course there's a lot of unlocks you can use to kind of bolster your defense. But they are getting around the corner here. The NG has brought out the Wrangler, trying to block this, but the Uber comes out. I don't know that there's anything that can save this position now, except for a beautiful counter Uber. Pyro's blowing each other around. He is in behind, and the demo comes through on the other side and gets some nice frags as well. But in the end, it kind of just evens itself out, and that might be a symptom of not having enough deeps. And now the demo actually chasing Med as well, gonna run into his heavy protector and get mowed down.
Now only 4 players left on the side of EU, trying to match a hold, but even they know they can't hold that aggressive spot that Texas did in Flank House. So they're opting for the more passive hold. Fallen Gourd right now, peeking right over some of these fences, trying to see an opening. Whoever peeks this main pathway will get shot at. So right now, Samurai is trying to peek and do what he can, but not wanting to die for it. Highway coming in with a huge bomb, and combined with Fallen Gourd, they managed to take down the Gun, Kronk, and Nate. So that's a very nice opening for them, and they're able to get the cart all the way forward right off the bat.
Yeah, that's what you really want to see when you're trying to push, is the 2 biggest obstacles to pushing immediately died to just a free bomb. It wasn't an Uber or anything. So now we're going to see... well, we'll see what they're going to do here. Marty is really extended right now. He's going to die in a sticky trap. I think he was kind of your skirmisher there to see what was going to happen. But it looks like they're going to throw this demo solo Uber in. Maybe on the right, but there is a Pyro there. Ooh, Med's going to get lots of pipes. Randy's going to end up falling in it. It's just a heavy here, but there's... I mean, at least you found out that all they've got right now is a level 1 gun.
Yeah, that was a solid Uber coming out of Sprager on the European side. Use it on your Pyro to blast them back. Use it late enough where you make sure your Uber lasts longer. So now they're actually even able to peek out a little bit. Sunrise and Norfell getting a couple picks each. And they're even playing around Nate, who gets a snipe off on the Freelander. So this is going to give a 50% advantage to Sprager here. And they now are able to just back up to their gun. Well, it looks like Nate doesn't quite want to back up yet because he's not done and gets Randy for it. Marty cleans him up, but... you gotta give it to him. That was some impressive sniping.
Yeah, especially when the defensive team on payload maps start to venture out, it can happen a lot of the time where you know, as medic, you get kind of careless about what sort of sight lines you're exposing yourself to, and if he can run out there quick enough, it's bad news bears. Nate is gonna get, wow, double stab back here on the side. Gonna take down a lot of our important defenders, our sniper and demo. So it's really all up to this gun and heavy, who are right next to each other, to make the magic happen. But they do have an Uber, should anything go really bad.
Yeah, it looks like Marty coming all the way in and manages to get 2 picks and a force. Wow. Alright, so the teleporter goes down as well, so this whole thing fell apart just from Marty walking forward a little bit and getting all those picks and the force. Now, Kronk trying to back out here, but not able to fend off the 3 players with his stumpy little legs on heavy. So now we have Norfell and Sprager getting set up on hallway here as Randy tries to push forward.
Yeah, they're using this Uber right now to keep this defense from solidifying. And I think they've done a good job of it. Going to take out the demo, scout, and a sniper. So again, what happened last time to our European friends is they could have been more proactive with that Uber, but they were hamstrung because all of their really mobile classes had just died. And now they're getting whittled down here as the cart is pretty much moving inexorably to its stop. But yeah, Scout almost saves the day, but Marty ends up picking up a bunch more frags, and I think that's going to be the map here for our first set.
Yeah, very, very strong showing out of Texas on the offensive side there. They just sort of kept it rolling, and they managed to stifle all the defense that the Europeans put up, except on first. I was actually excited. You know, the Europeans ran an interesting comp, and they managed to hold it for, you know, a minute or two, which is pretty nice for first. But, you know, since then, it was just sort of Texas pushing in and the Europeans dying to it.
Yeah, the cheese fries just kept rolling, you know. Once it got going, it just oozed forward, and it kept whittling down their defense to the point where it never. You know, the big thing on payload is you've got to have sort of your set points where you're gonna. This is our last stand, our redoubt, and they never were able to set up after they broke that initial defense on the first point. They just kept getting whittled down and were unable to respond.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And looking at the logs here, we have some pretty interesting stats where Norfel03, the demo man for the Europeans, is going 25 and 14 with 520 DPM. The next is Randy, 100 DPM under him, and also 7 frags under him. So Norfel doing a very nice job there. But then second and third on the scoreboard, we have Fallengord on Sniper with 24 and Marty on Pyro and some Scout with 23 frags, both of those players on the side of Texas. So lots of damage and lots of frags going both ways.
Indeed, yeah. And pretty interesting stats. Nice to see Demo do that much damage. It does my heart some good. But so we're just kind of chilling for right now. But yeah, interesting stats. I like that the different team comp there, but it apparently didn't work. It kept. I think the goal there was to just knock out enough players on the offense with that Sniper Pyro that they can't really do. You want to prevent your opponent from doing what they want to do, the standard sort of mass up and go push, and they just didn't get it.
Yeah, and we also have here 11 frags from Fallengord onto Nate, the enemy sniper, and then Nate having 3 frags back onto Fallengord. So that probably explains why their stats almost flipped. Fallengord going 24 and 12, Nate going 15 and 25.
Yeah, some sniper victimization there at the end, especially that last round. It was pretty a one-sided sniper duel.
Yeah, and we do have a lot of switching too. Even me trying to read these logs, there's, let me count, 5 players except the medics who stayed on one class the whole game, and then there are 7 who switched and played at least one class. So it's interesting seeing how they're trying to adapt and change things up, but also it's a little bit hard to draw conclusions from the stats. But, you know, in general, even if we just sort of by kills, it's most of Texas above most of the Europeans here.
Yeah, there's a pretty big clump of the Texans all up at the top, except for Norfel on the demo there, trying to do as much deeps as one demo can do.
And you have to think too, you know, it wasn't like, you know, Texas did a very good job and still had what, like 5 minutes on the clock when the run ended. Actually, as we're getting ready up here, but with 5 minutes on the clock, Texas definitely came in with stronger frags and faster pushes, but the Europeans didn't look too shabby, you know, like they had solid pushes, they had solid holds. So maybe if they're able to string together a couple of those or really figure out a hold and get it to work for a couple minutes at a time, that might end up helping them out in the in this next upcoming round.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing you're looking for here is just to get, because they had such a good push through last time, you just want to set a really solid time right now, especially because I think we're going to see a rework defense over here, because they are, instead of the spy, they're bringing out a scout. I think that's a response to the, you know, we had Uber, but we couldn't do anything with it, so we just had to sit around and get forced. So yeah. I think they want that scout to be, you know, you can run that scout in there when you have Uber and try and get them back off of you for a small amount of time. And we'll see basically it looks like same pushing setup that we had last go around for the Texas cheese fries though, right?
Yeah, it looks about the same. And I also, Sigafree mentioned on defense, having a spy on first isn't too great because the medic usually hides and, they respawn so quick it's not really worth it. And I also want to mention real quick, I loved some of the smack talk from Sprager when his team got a good couple of picks. Shot away getting Nate and Crunk, excuse me. So that's Heavy and Sniper down right away. So it looks like I don't even have time for this little bit of a joke because Randy, Freelander, and Marty working their way in. Randy taking the Uber and Cinderized blasting him back, and actually Randy is not even able to get close enough to put any damage in.
Yeah, the Rescue Ranger really saved the day there for the European defense. Because it was bringing the heals. And it's still going to go down anyways because he had to reload. Marty's going to come in and victimize his Pyro Nemesis. Now he sees that teleporter. Spy is in here as well, but there's the Scout coming into play, but going to be taken out by the Spy. And so there is still one player. No, that's a sapped Telly, so that's going to go down. And again, we're moving really quick here. For the Texas Cheese Fries, there's no gun here set up or anything, and they're already sort of in the mix here. And we'll see, will that bomb kill everyone like it did last time? Nate's going to go down. No frags from the bomb, but the soldier really doesn't get beat up too bad either, so he's just going to do it again. And even Marty gets in on the act.
Look how hurt they are too on the European side. They're running as fast as they can, but so much damage is coming down. Shot away even getting another backstab. So now they're able to back out. Each team has even Ubers, but that's 2 points going down in a minute 38.
Yeah, this is going to be, if they can't stop the bleeding and get set up somewhere, the Europeans, and this is going to be a bad day for them. Now, their Spy is caught out in the back. He's way behind, so they're essentially now going at this with one player, not really active, but they're going to catch out the demo in the early part of the Uber. Marty's just going to burn him up. The demo gets melted straight away, and our return Uber is going to not really be greatly effective, and then they're going to get wiped out. They knew that's one of the oldest tricks in the TF2 book is if the opponent thinks they have a better Uber, just check out of the choke and then gang up on them, and they were kind of hanging out in the wind.
Yeah, especially we had players in the back lines and backyard. We had players in both doorways. We had players on the cart. So Texas was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And now they're still pulling frag after frag. They're just rolling right through. Marty's still taking out another one. Gets Sinrise. Nate is on fire and getting spammed out. Now Marty goes down for it. Highways resetting and backing up to his team. So this cart's right into last, ready to go, and it's only been 2 minutes and 38 seconds.
Yeah, a really, really strong round so far. They did switch out, Kosiku, or you, is running on the original now, trying to get a little more DPS out, I think. Nate is going to win the sniper duel for probably the first time this round. And also, just because of how quick this is going, they've got a mini sentry out from Clark. He just didn't think he was going to have the ability to set up a regular sentry, I don't think. And they have actually stabilized for right now, but the push is coming around. The airstrike's going to take out Nate. And so that's, I mean, you get a little more vision. Yeah, now it's all going to happen. The Spy breaks it down, and that's the end of the defense. It was all going so well.
Just Clark left alive. He gives his last stand, but not able to get it done. So 3 minutes and 46 seconds on Borneo of all maps. And remember, that first round was at 10 minutes. That ended up going pretty long, but looks like the Texas team showing they know how to work these barns.
Yeah, and the Spy just getting 2 frags there, 1 in the med. That's a tough pill to swallow, because that defense was so stable. Somebody had to have noticed that there was a player in a weird spot, and just didn't deal with it. So we'll see what the defense is now from the Cheese Fries. It looks like they're going to run something pretty similar. Marty actually going on Engineer. They are going to keep out their Soldier, but they're going to run 2 pick classes as well. So kind of an odd setup. I would want to like as heavy of a defense as possible, but we'll see. Maybe they know that their sniper has been winning the sniper battle for a lot of this match, and their Spy just had the play of his life. So I guess let him run.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if it works, it works, and even then, even if they lose first pretty quick, they'll have a pretty decent setup on the second if they're able to keep that engineer going, you know, and have the heavy weapons guy as well. Actually, it looks like Prolander and Randy are working their Kritzkrieg all the way in. Here comes the pop, all the way on the flank near the forward hold house that used to happen back in 2010. They end up getting just the Pyro Sinrise, but Shotaway gets a backstab, Prolander gets a snipe. So, you know, Spranger still has full Uber and is not afraid of anything, but Prolander and Randy are pushing into spawn.
Yep, and Clark is on Soldier. They're going to get taken out, just trying to keep that cart rolling a little bit. And now they're on it as well, but they're being exposed by the demo here. Scout Uber, not really at the end of the world, because there isn't a huge gun to take down, and not really much going to come out of there. They are going to end up picking up a couple frags, but then, yeah, then their medic dies immediately after the Uber. And that is another toughie there, because they ended up just really committing to trying to get frags with that Scout Uber, and slowly but surely the cheese fries just enveloped them.
Yeah, I like that play from the cheese fries, you know, like when the Uber came in from the Europeans, they backed up, hid for a little bit, and then just collapsed and killed the med and killed everything else that was still in the point. So now, another crits comes out, this time onto Randy on Scout. They end up going down pretty quick for it, but we have a little bit of damage going into Spranger. I'm sure he'll be fine. Randy gets pretty close, but goes down for it. Now, Marty trying to work his way forward, Pablo going in, Highway going in and dying for it. We have a nice snipe from Nate onto Prolander, which is going to help, so it looks like they'll probably get this first point, but I don't know, Marxist. Even with ×3 the rest of the map, I'm not sure if they can get all the way to the end.
Yeah, 2 minutes is going to be pretty tough. The upside is that the cheese fries know they just have to hold for 2 minutes, and they really threw everything into that first hold,
Yeah.
which did pan out okay, but it also means that as long as nothing crazy happens, they're gonna get this second point really fast as well. Unfortunately, they're gonna end up losing a bunch of players, and then their med's gonna get domed by Prolander, and that is, I think that'll slow the roll a bit.
Yeah, I'm sure that's all she wrote at this point. You know, we have some nice snipes coming out from Nate, but, you know, at this point, cheese fries just kind of putting their damage in and just padding those stats, looking cool for the boys back home, and just kind of running out this last minute we have left.
Yeah, and that will be the end here for the Europeans, because there was maybe a theoretical possibility of victory there if the cheese fries just kind of kept throwing themselves in there and dying, but then their team got wiped out, and that was the end of that.
Yeah, I remember it was in the first round, I think. There was some great smack talk from one of the Europeans, which I've never been exposed to. It's really funny. When his team got a whole bunch of kills, I think it was Spranger on Medic said, if I wanted to work on a farm, I would have never left Ireland. So, you know, maybe got a little bit too high on his laurels there, because they weren't able to put his money where his mouth was for this following round. So this is going to be a 2-0 going in the way of Texas cheese fries.
Yeah, and that's the kind of win you want as the cheese fries. I bet they come into their next game feeling quite confident.
Yeah, they had a close first game. They lost just barely to Mo Money, but now they're going to be 1-1, I believe. The Europeans being 0-2 here, but let's not forget everyone still has one more match to play. I'm going to see if I can pull up the logs here real quick.
Yeah. I'm actually trying to negotiate these connect infos we're getting for the next game, but yeah, I expect the stats here are going to be pretty lopsided relative to even relative to what we had before, because we just didn't have as many strong demo Ubers to allow the Europeans to get 500 on their guy.
Yeah, it's exactly like you said. There's just too many players from Texas who put out too much damage. But I am currently loading into our next server, which looks like it's going to be Mo Money versus TF Crew. So 2 teams we happened to catch earlier in this afternoon are going to be duking it out on Borneo. And I'm not sure what the score is as we load in here. But both of these teams now are, I think, 1-1. Yeah, so that's right. Both teams here are 1-1. So they're playing to see who's 2-1. And remember, if you are 2-1, or, 2-0, because if you get at least 2 wins, you're getting at least something. So, okay.
Yeah, so we joined this one already in progress. Whoa, immediately bad luck, because we're gonna lose our off-ending medic. They are tagged up as Chorispu for me, but they are gonna immediately die, and the defense is still kind of quivering a little bit, but they have that uber advantage. But they're in that situation I talked about in the last game where they really don't have they can't use their uber proactively, because really all they've got is a heavy. And the best defense against an uber heavy is to just run away from him.
Yeah, amen to that. And now we do have Joe taking the uber in, bringing it onto Wish and Scarlet, the demo and heavy. And actually, is that the lock and load on Scarlet, which I haven't seen in a good while. But now Dong is trying to put some damage into the cart, but Smitty and Split trading the frags right back. This is a pretty scrappy fight with, wow, Marco's getting a very nice snipe onto Split. So the cart's not going to move too far. There's only 3 players up on Mofu.
Yeah, and you end up losing their med as well again. So the proactive heavy uber there turned out, I mean, they did the best with what they had. And we're now kind of looking at this defense re-stabilize. Damage is coming down. Spam's going pretty well. Huge black box bomb. Gonna run around and collect health packs as well. But now we're gonna start to see frags come out, and Smitty is gonna be one of the first victims. And really, in any kind of payload map, if you lose your demo, that's pretty much the end of pushing for a little bit. At least, unless you can get somebody who's trying to do something silly.
Absolutely. And now we have Mo Money here with a solid defense, and we're finding out from our men behind the cameras right now, it looks like it's 1-0 on this map for Mo Money here on the defense. And speaking of which, they bring a very solid uber very far forward. Scarlet chasing all the way to spawn. Mofu just cannot get a foot onto this out of this doorway. They managed to take out Fallen on Spy, which is something, but there's not too much going for them.
Yeah, it's going to be a long drive here. Med down on 13 health, though. That's not how you want to start this one out, because they do have uber advantage, and if you lose your med here, that's just a tragedy. But so far, that regen is doing what it can. Gonna collect a little bit of a health pack there and get back to normal. They do wipe out this defense, at least some subsidiary members of it. I think maybe the thought was we can hold... Whoa, big spy train on the cart. Gonna pick up two, the old tricks there. And the Uber does come out now. It's a trade-off. And there is a level 3 gun here kind of hanging out on the side. There's a telly as well. They're going to try and just whittle that down so no new players just show up right in their faces. And we're going to have a nice exchange there from Monkey the demo. Going to try and get as much as he can, but the cart is going to keep rolling on this one. Whoa, Wish gets devastated.
There's only 3 players left up on the side of Mo Money. So right now, Spamfest working his way all the way up to the high ground, gets blasted off. Yeah, it's very sad to see because that's such a great position. But now, Chorispu is sitting with his team at a solid 50% advantage. Spamfest now putting in some damage, but we have the banner popped off. Jerry taking a lot of damage here, goes down for it. So, unfortunately we lose your medic here, but was it really worth it to stall the cart for an extra 20 seconds?
Yeah, I don't know. It did allow them to clear the doorway and get in there, but I would have liked to... I think they figured this is our best bet to try to break this momentum, and that was sort of the thinking, was just we'll slow this down and then we'll reset and we'll have Uber eventually. But as soon as their med died, then that was the end of the whole thing.
And actually, that, I think, was Mofu's push to lose there. They got so many picks, but they didn't commit anyone to the cart. Like, the cart's still not capped, or it's just barely getting capped now, but Mo Money had enough time to have their 15-second respawns plus 10-second walks to the point. So that was almost 30 seconds of no one really being able to push the cart. And now Mo Money is going to have a solid defense where they didn't really deserve it, you know?
Yeah, and we'll see. Pyro runs into a heavy. The battle is old as time. And then a scout does too and dies. So, gonna have this left side push. Oh no, Med goes down. Gonna take the spam there as well. And only really our soldier behind me. Scarlet's gonna get headshot. And so, in they go, running in with this Uber, really just trying to find the defense here. They want to use the Uber, but there's nothing here to use it on. So the cart's just going to keep rolling for now, I think. You don't want to waste it.
Yeah, and that's a heads-up play, too, coming from the Mofu team, because they're trying to find the defense, they got a whole bunch of kills, but they didn't all just spread out and go running for frags. They kept 3 players, Demo, Heavy, and I think Pyro around their medic. They do lose Smitty to Fallen here on Demo, so that's going to be nice for the Mo Money team, but at least Carisfree still has that full advantage, but it's dwindling. Jared's already on 65.
Yeah, that's when you delay your attack here, they are going to go now, and it's just going to be a heavy, and then we see the struggle. Soldier trying to get in here on the backside and stop them from running from the heavy, but it does not work. And then they lose their med as well at the end of that. And now the defense, this was good solid play out of them, because when you're getting rolled on these, you need to just back up a little bit further than you think, and maybe everything will turn out. And that's exactly what happened. They outran the bear and then came back later when it suited them.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, what a way to squander it, too. You know, just trying to take that heavy Uber in as your advantage push. So now at this point, they let Momo get set back up. And they're a huge diss out here. You know, you'd have to think maybe having a spy would help break the door open, but as we're thinking about this, wait, Mo Money comes in with the Uber, but away from downtown, we have June getting the back cap on Pyro. So right now there's only 3 players left up. It's Spy, Sniper, and Demo on the side of Mo Money. Mofu collecting themselves, getting back together, letting the respawns come in, and slowly working their way in. But we still have a lot of respawners coming in on the side of Mo Money.
Yeah, that was a proactive Uber that ended up, you know, sometimes when you're out there and your team dies sort of on the flank or on your periphery, you end up being a lot further forward than you intended. We do have a spy who's trying to win the game right now on the back. And Risen, though, is gonna change the game completely and get basically the entirety of the push crew here. And now it's just Wish with a medic on him trying to hold steady here. But with a few arrows, he'll be right as rain.
Yeah, man, that's the beauty of the spy in this format. You know, there's a lot fewer players, so you can be a little sneaky, right? But then when it comes down to it, when you really need the big play, you look to players like Fallen, they're getting that huge backstab onto Carisfree, resetting that 100% Uber ad that they were about to take into last. So this now allows Mo Money to build up this defense, play around their sniper, get their full Uber, which they have 30% ad for. They even take down Smitty on his way in.
Yep. And again, that's no demo in these on these payload maps. You're basically not going to be able to go unless you're, well, what do we got here? We got a sniper. Unless the sniper kills everybody. and he's sort of playing a game of Counter-Strike down here, trying to peek through the doorway while crouched to see what he can see. But now it's going to happen. The Uber is out. Med gets tossed way forward. Demo coming around this side. The Uber comes out to counter. I don't know that this is going to go particularly well. Yeah, Carisfree gets stuck right in there. Pyro gets taken out as well. Smitty just trying to defend himself with 0 ammo. The only thing I saw out of him was a Pyro running at him and Smitty reloading about as fast as he possibly could and not firing, because there was nothing, really nothing he could do there.
Yeah, and this is a very solid hold coming out of Mo Money too, where as opposed to the last defense we saw with, I think, the Europeans. We have now Dongus on Soldier, Wish on Scout, holding the left side from the perspective of the red team. But, as I say it, Sovereign gets a huge headshot onto Dongus, and now this is opening up the dry push. Mofu just commits 5 players and starts running forward. Sovereign with another snipe onto markers. So, I'm loving this pressure that's coming in from Mofu here. They just say, you know what, we're going to have to wait for Uber anyway. May as well frag while we do. So they have to make sure they get their medic out alive, and Kurisru is working his way out, but maybe committing too much to try and save a sniper in a 1v2. That's not something that you would want to bet on, but they do keep Kurisru alive, which is at least what you want.
Yeah, and we had the scout and the fatter scout crew in there trying to cap together, but it did not happen. Heavy on the point now. Split is on scout, getting it easy peasy there to finish it off. They ran, yeah, the big key there at that last defense was they very effectively spammed down the gun. And then when they decided to make their move, the only thing that we had opposing for the defense was a level 1 sentry gun, and that's not that intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, we kept seeing things, it was like a roller coaster, or a much more intense tug of war, where we would see something go really in the way of Mo Money and really in the way of Mofu, or like someone gets a huge back cap and someone else gets a crazy, you know, backstab drop, whatever it is, you know. So it was really interesting seeing it play out for both teams, but then you look at the clock and 11 minutes isn't really so great for Borneo. It's the kind of thing, if you mount a hold on a point for like 4 minutes, then it's fine, but you know, you can't always count on that strategy of not being capped for minutes at a time, you know.
Yep. And, well, I'll just look at what we're running here real quick. So, on the defense, we're running the double pick class with Scout. That seemed to work pretty well the times that we have seen that brought out. And then on offense, we've got actually still the Sniper Spy as well coming out here. No Heavy right now in play. Sad zone for me. So, here we go. They're trying to get out, running around. They're going to go the left side. There's an exposed on-fire Split. Almost accidentally runs into a Spy as well. And so far, nothing too crazy happening. Red's health is... The defense is getting kind of beat up, but that's bound to happen because your med is safely tucked away inside of this house.
Yeah, and look at that. The gun already has to come back. Spamfest is not able to get too much of a hold mounted. The Ubers are exchanged. Smitty and Split working their way down this hill, but maybe extending a little much. Jer is so hurt, but they lose to Kurisru, Sovereign, June. All these players going down on the side of Mofu, so Mo Money is just going to bring this push straight forward as soon as someone gets on the cart.
Yeah, the losing your med that early and you've got to hold this for 10 minutes doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
Now that you've got to try and regroup here, you either try and slow them down slowly as they try to come out here. I don't think that's going to happen because we just had a nice headshot come down on June, and there's no gun or anything here around this corner, and there's no Uber coming either. So this is going to be a really tough spot to hold. You do have that wall, but there's only so much it can do for you.
We also have Fallen taking down Sovereign, who was, for some reason, way by himself. So that's not something you ever want to see. But now Oblivion working his way in. Actually does manage to get the gun, but doesn't manage to get too much else. Right now, Kurisru is still alive. Both medics, even Ubers, at 85%. As Mofu works their way back to try and defend third.
Yeah, and this is, again, they're in a really tight spot here, because you want to try and slow this roll as much as you can. And they do toot a horn here in the conch, but it doesn't really do too much. And the push is coming in now. The Uber will go. It'll be responded to with an Uber. Not really a lot. Pyro just kind of running around here trying to find stuff to burn. There's a level 1 gun, but that's a hard sell. And really nothing doing here. The defense is kind of holding steady, but still, level 1 gun getting spammed, and it's going to fall, and that'll probably be the end of them being in this little barn area.
Yeah, it looked like Smitty was close to being able to hold it, but then Fallen comes in with a huge backstab and manages to butter knife down Kurisru. So the floodgates are open, and Mo Money has nothing in their way, except I guess 5 other players, but that's not too much.
Now you're gonna have to clench your jaw a bit here because we've got to hold this last point for 8 minutes, and that is that's gonna be pretty spectacularly hard because we are not playing Gold Rush 3.
You don't have to tell me twice, Marxist. I always have great difficulty for lasting 8 minutes, but hopefully Mofu is going to be able to do a little bit better. Now the Ubers are pretty close to even. We have a solid setup from both teams, all players alive, so we're going to see, hopefully they're able to get at least a little while off this clock.
Yeah, Spy is in position. I think he's gonna find his prey. No, Butter Knife! Oh, he's gonna cut him off from the health pack. That'll send the bomb in, which we'll discover there is a level 2 gun on top of our biohazard drums here. The poor dispenser, though, is going to be a casualty of the spam. And, you know, strangely enough, we lose quite a number of defenders, but don't really see any increased activity.
Yeah, now Spamfest's gun, luckily, is able to hold them off a little bit, and it almost goes down, but he moves it just in the nick of time. The gun now going up in the spot in Toxic is super strong because, you know, by the time you can see it to shoot it, it's also shooting at you, so hopefully when Momo makes their way in, they maybe dedicate someone or some people to that while maybe an Uber's going on. But Momo isn't going to have an Uber for another 30 seconds or so, which is nice on the side of Mofu, getting those seconds off the clock.
Yeah, and we're going to end up seeing the first use of the direct hit, I think, and that is going to kill the gun. Pretty effective tactic there to just remove the gun from play and get ready to try and have an Uber here. Smitty gets pretty beat up. If you lose him, you're probably going to lose this point.
Oh, look at this. Scarlet working all the way in from the flank with Jareth. But they walk into the gun and got the gun down before anyone even notices them. Now the Ubers come out and get returned, and it is going to be a better Uber, mostly by accident, on the side of Karisu with Mofu. But the cart's working a little bit forward, and yeah, with only 2 players up on the Mo Money side, they're not going to get too much done.
Yeah, well, the trick there was actually Spam Fest, I believe, right? Is probably tagged up as lily pad for me.
Yeah.
But so Spam Fest actually grabbed that gun and got Ubered with the gun in his hands, the sentry gun, so that it didn't die, and it was level 2. I think it only had like 1 or 2 more wrench hits to be level 3, so that's definitely worth it. They're going to find out the Risen as well with the classic just spray the flame around, and that will slow things down as both medics are relatively even on Uber. I mean, the percentage really doesn't make a difference here. And we've actually, strangely enough, Scarlet has switched off that direct hit. I felt it worked pretty well, but back onto Black Box.
Yeah, I thought so too, especially, you know, Spamfest is one of the best engineers this game has ever seen, so to push into his gun, and even like you mentioned, they're willing to Uber Spamfest just to save the gun, so I'd figure you want to commit more, not less. But, ooh, Zalvin with a nice snipe on the Wish. And it looks like Mo Money is working their way into this flank side yet again.
Yeah, this is the way to go on Borneo, it seems, and they are going to pick up another frag. Will this Uber come out in time? I mean, they just held through the whole thing. That's Farmer Brown activity on display. The gun is on fire, and it has very little health. It gets sapped and killed by a scout in the end. So they did all they could to keep that gun up, but the Uber still, Karisfu still has Uber. It is finally going to be popped, unfortunately, in the back lines where it will hurt no one. But actually, in the end, it doesn't really matter because JR has to end up popping as it's dead and wasn't building anyways. So if you have to pop the sad defensive Uber, I guess that's as good a time as any to have been forced.
Look at the clock, Marxist. We're past the 4-minute mark, so they're already halfway there. They're managing to do it. You know, it hasn't been easy. There have been a lot of pushes in the meantime, and just now they actually lose Sovereign to Fallen on Spy. So this is definitely going to help the attacking team having that Spy making those openings. But they're not going to have Uber for another about 15 or 20 seconds.
Yeah, and Risen gets found out by the elementary school spy checking again. Unfortunately, Spam Fest is gonna fall finally, and Jer's very beat up here. I mean, that was kind of their chance. You could get in on this gun finally, and they're gonna get tossed all around. They do end up popping Uber, but it's directly into a Pyro, and oh, Spamfest tries to save his gun, only just barely fails. But I don't think it's gonna matter. This push is falling apart.
Yeah, that was such a huge play from June. As soon as you get that Pyro into that hallway, none shall pass, and they're not able to commit the Uber. But Markers actually snipes Karisfu from downtown, so this is definitely going to help the attackers now having a, what, 40% advantage probably? You know, Spamfest is back up, Sovereign is getting ready to snipe, oh, right from cart, taking a good couple peeks, but this is probably the best chance that Mo Money's had so far with this Uber advantage.
Yeah, and the soldier is down as well. We're on just this NG really holding the sort of walkway over here. That's going to be tough. They're going to end up losing him. And with 2 minutes left, it's starting to get pretty dark here. June is going to fall as well, but they are going to take out Jer and Monkey. So that's pretty solid there, and nice play there from Split to clean up some more. And I think they're actually going to manage to hold on here. We got one player left running around. It's Risen. He's just going to push the cart to prevent it from rolling backwards. And he is being as annoying as possible, collecting some health from the cart as well. But it's happening. We're at 1:30. They managed to hold on for 8 minutes here. And I think really we're only down to into the zone where Jer's really only going to get one more really pre-planned push. And if that fails, they're going to end up just having to go with what they've got.
Yeah, they were so close. They had the Uber ad, they had the picks, they had the positioning. But Fallen taking the cart all the way in with the back cap into last, and there you go. That's the round, and at least as far as I understand the game, what a back cap, just sliding you right in.
Wah, wah, wah. So, even on payloads, the tragic back cap can still end your epic defense. Good to see you there. Unfortunately, not willing to defend that cart maybe as much as they should. That was a good move from Risen. Risen was having a lot of trouble doing what spies like to do, is get frags, because on that catwalk, you're really limited to what you can get into. And then he just switched to abusing the cart, and it worked great.
Yeah, wow, what a play. That's still like, you know, they were doing so well, and they were so close, and then it all comes crashing down. Looking at the logs here, we have something pretty interesting to me is that June on Pyro and Spy got 5 picks on the medic. We also have topping the frags is Wish and June tied at 27 each, but Wish has 14 deaths to June's 16.
Well, and the fearfully higher DPS. So some of June's frags were, shall we say, the person would have died regardless.
So that is all of the rounds, all the games in round 2. A little bit of a closer one there with Mo Money versus TF Crew, but now we are done. There's only 2 teams with 2 wins, and that is Taco Salad versus Mo Money in the finals. Then we'll have 2 other games, which will be a little bit closer, and we'll definitely be checking out. So we'll choose the best game. We'll be casting that one. But we'll figure out one of you 2 are going to stay around, right? Hang around for the next game. We'll figure it out after this. But we'll have a good time. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. We still have one more game to go, but this one's even better than all the other games combined because this one is a best-of-3 series. 3 maps. It's going to be Viaduct, onto Badwater, and if needed, upward as a decider. It should be a great one. Thank you again to our sponsors, Manco Trade. They've been growing like crazy lately. They've only been online for 3 months. Already had 10,000 trading users, over 60,000 trades made, 200,000 sessions, and over 4,000 page views. So they have been doing a great job with that. Guys, check out manco.trade for your TF2 trading needs, as they have been great to sponsor us. Also, thank you. Shout out out to Tragic Servers, as they provided all of the servers here for us today, and all the ones that we use for our league. They're fantastic, cheap. Use RGL30 if you want 30% off the lifetime of your order. And finally, Season 3, it started up right now, rgl.gg. It is completely free to join inside of the Rec League, or you can join one of our paid leagues, which does have a prize pool since you're paying money. It only makes sense. So thank you guys all for hanging out with us here, as we're going to take it to a short break, and we'll come back with Round 3 in a best-of-3 series on these maps. Thank you.